The SmallRig Tribex tripod is probably one of the most highly anticipated camera product released in 2024. After months of waiting for it to arrive, it has finally reached my hands. While there are many things to like about this new tripod, there are some quirks that you will have to live with. It is by no means an expensive tripod, but for $1,000, I would want it to not have such issues. Keep watching the rest of this video to find out what they are. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bernard and welcome to the channel. It's been a while since I've done a gear review video, but I figured that a SmallRig Tribex tripod is definitely worth me getting back in the game. In this video, I'll be highlighting the pros and cons of the Tribex tripod and make some comparisons to the Satellar Flowtech system. It's going to be an apples to oranges comparison because, let's be honest, the Satellar is almost 5 times the price and in a different weight class. Although it's not going to be a fair comparison, people are still going to do so anyways, so I might as well help out. Disclaimer, this is not a sponsored post. I bought this tripod with my own money and my thoughts in this review are not influenced in any way. Okay, let's not waste any more time and talk about the tripod. I would like to happily report that as advertised, it is indeed a one-step adjustment tripod and everything is controlled via this clutch system. When you want to adjust the height of this tripod, all you have to do is squeeze the clutch and the locking mechanism is disengaged. When you're happy with the tripod's height and position, all you do is release the clutch and the tripod will stay in place. Well, at least that's what's supposed to happen. More on that in a bit. The other thing that I really like about this tripod is its size and weight. Compared to the Satellar, which weighs 6.2 kg, the Tribex is only 3.8 kg. If you watch my Satellar tripod review, you'll know that the main thing I didn't like was the weight. Hand carrying that tripod around was a pain. It is so much easier with the Tribex. Let's now take a closer look at the clutch system, which I believe is the first of its kind in the market. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this mechanism if I'm to be honest with you. I definitely appreciate the speed of this system where I can deploy all of the legs with just one squeeze. That said, the Flowtech system is no slouch either. It is a double-edged sword though. There are times where I would like to make a minor adjustment to just one leg. That is very easy to do on the Flowtech. However, with the Tribex, once you squeeze the clutch, all legs will come down and it will take more effort to hold it up, especially with a heavier setup on it. Another thing that I do not like at times, and I do have to emphasize that it is only occasional, is leveling the tripod. The leveling system on the Active, which was revolutionary when it was released, is such a pleasant experience to use. With the Tribex, I find that with heavier loads, it is more tedious to fine-tune it to the perfect position. Pair that with the next problem I'm about to mention and the leveling experience is even further affected. That said, I do think that it is still better than the traditional way of leveling a tripod bowl where you reach under the tripod, unscrew it and screw it back. In this day and age, that is just tedious. We are definitely very spoiled with technology. The Tribex tripod does have a big thing going for it. On uneven ground, when you extend and level the tripod, the weight distribution will always be perfect. The Satellar, on the other hand, on many occasions, I have extended the legs, leveled the fluid head, only to realize that although the camera is leveled, the tripod is grossly unbalanced and a small knock would probably send it toppling. This is one category that the Tribex will beat all the other tripods in the market. It is now time to reveal the big problem/quirk that I've mentioned at the beginning of the video. The Tribex tripod does not lock instantly right after you release the clutch. When you raise or collapse the tripod, if you do not support it for a second or so after releasing the clutch, the locking mechanism would still be disengaged and your tripod height will shift. I found out that you have to hold the tripod in the position that you want for another second after releasing the clutch. Only then will the tripod stay in place. This process can be expedited by flicking the clutch, but this is neither instinctive nor ergonomic. And very weirdly, when the tripod legs are locked in position, all you need is a very gentle pull and the legs will extend. It won't collapse when you push it, but it will extend when you pull. I hope this does not affect the tripod in the long run. There are a few other cons to this tripod, all of which are minor ones, which I'll address very soon, but this is the biggest one. I think I can live with it, but time will tell. So yeah, on to the other problems. When fully extended with the center column up, I find it jittery. On a super telephoto, it picks up micro adjustments when you first touch the tripod. It's fine when you make long continuous movements, but the preliminary jerks can be seen no matter how careful I try to be. I think the best way to use the Tribex tripod is with the center column down. However, do take note that this is where the Satchler gains a significant advantage by being much taller. Speaking of the center column, I really dislike the screw to unlock it. For some reason, they added this mechanism where you have to pull before you can twist. I find that a very unnecessary step. That's pretty much my thoughts on the tripod legs. And now it's time to talk about the fluid head. I would say at the price point of this tripod, they have very kindly included a decent fluid head. In fact, I think that this is one of the best value for money tripods on the market, and this is something I rarely say. As much as I love the Satchler and highly recommend it to others, I still think that it is overpriced. Back to the fluid head, yes, it's a decent one for its price, but there are a couple of cons. For starters, the lock on the tilt axis is pretty hard to unlock. A couple of times, I thought it was stuck. Secondly, there are not many steps to the counterbalance system. With only effectively 3 steps, you don't have many options. For reference, the Active 6 has 15 steps. I also have the Manfrotto 608 Nitrotech, which is pretty flexible when it comes to balancing. Even when I'm on a relatively small setup, like the 70-200 on an A7S III, I find that it is between steps 2 and 3. You can forget about balancing a fully rigged camera on this. Lastly, the dampening on the fluid head is not perfect. Look, it's decent enough to give you good results, but it can't be compared to the ones on the Active or the Nitrotech series. Look, I'm being a little harsh here and calling it out as it is. However, there are a couple of things to keep in mind as to why this fluid head is not perfect. Firstly, this fluid head is way lighter than the other 2 fluid heads that I mentioned. I believe it is approximately half the weight. The other thing I said about this tripod being lightweight and nice to transport, I would gladly accept the flaws to maintain this level of portability. Secondly, this fluid head is way cheaper. The price of the other fluid heads alone costs more than the entire Tribex setup. For a budget fluid head, I think that this is as good as it gets. If you compare the Tribex fluid head to something in the same class, like the Manfrotto 502 or the 500, this is way superior. I also really like that it is a drop-in plate instead of a slide-in. However, one thing to note is that the tightening knob is on the right side of the fluid head. That means that if you are right-handed, after attaching your camera with your right hand, it's a bit cumbersome to switch hands to hold your camera while tightening it. On the Satchler, all tightening knobs are conveniently located on the left side, so it's really very ergonomic to make adjustments. It's these small little details that make a difference, and you never notice what you have until it's gone. Personally, I'm going to attach a couple of quick release plates on the tripod, so when I'm on a shoot that needs portability, I'll use a stock fluid head. And when I'm on a shoot that I have my rock and roller card, I'll swap it over to the Manfrotto 608. These are my thoughts on a small rig Tribex tripod. Overall, I'm glad I bought it, and it's going to be a good B-cam tripod. It's definitely not going to replace my Satchler, as I feel that it is more stable and suitable for bigger rigs. Don't get me wrong, the Tribex can handle a big rig, and it does feel safe. But the Satchler just feels safer, and that's 20k worth of gear that's at stake, so of course I'm gonna pick the safer option. For anyone with the budget, I'll recommend the Satchler for your A cam and the Tribex for your B cam. It is definitely a great option in the market and perfect for those just entering the industry. The Tribex will also be my #1 pick if I'm going to be doing any adventures and it has to be hand carried. The weight savings is really significant. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. That's it for today. It's a wrap!